A battle is raging in the Bahamas. A battle to create as many explosions as possible in the shortest possible time. The ringmaster of this fiery mayhem is Peter Hutchinson, who's put the bangs into hundreds of films, from The Dirty Dozen to Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
We've got some quite major effects, sort of one after the other, you know, on one day and then you're straight into another one the following day.
In this movie, he's using effects never attempted before. The budget is tight, and Peter knows in this business that one mistake could be fatal. Peter's latest film is an all-action drama for the Navy. He's got to fire missiles, blow up a hotel, and stage a war on a jungle road, and all in just 3 weeks. A villainous warlord seizes some British hostages and holds them to ransom. Riding to the rescue is the real-life HMS Montrose. The Navy has lent the frigate for 4 days, and no more.
Hello?
First, they want a shot of a Harpoon missile being fired from the deck. The real thing costs £500,000, so Peter has to make his own.
It hasn't been done before, so it's going to be quite... I should be really pleased if we pull that off.
Alex, Peter's assistant on a lot of his films, starts preparing the rocket motors.
Solid fuel boosters for the rocket. This big one generates 500 pounds of thrust, and the two small ones generate about 200 pounds of thrust.
The missiles are highly powered, but unlike the real thing, they are completely unguided. It's impossible to know where exactly they will go.
I know if we fire into the wind, they will climb on it, and they tend to go vertical.
So it'd be quite good to actually split, they go 1, 2,
Yeah.
so they're actually staggered rather than one and then another.
Yeah.
Let it go, you know, sort of, how you tune them on a electric button.
Yes. Yep.
The Navy, understandably, is starting to get nervous.
Our regulations say we've got to have anti-flash, overalls, helmets, air defenders. If we can have the minimum amount of people out here. In my shot, I don't want to see any people, because I don't think there would be any people out here.
If the dummy missiles get stuck in the homemade launcher, they could easily start a fire. And this ship is packed with real weapons.
They're 13 feet long, and they're a foot in diameter, and they weigh about 92.5 pounds each, all up weight. So it's quite a payload to get, or quite a missile to get off the ground, you know. Which, but we've got about 710, 720 pounds of thrust. So I think we've got it. You know, the proof of the pudding will be in the flying, as they say.
Sound speed. Running. All cameras rolling, and action.
On the first firing, 2 missiles leave the ship, but nobody is quite sure where they have gone. In fact, they've landed dangerously close to the frigate.
First one went fine, second one just sort of went right, Henry. It looped back over. Did it? It turned, it came down there and then went fine.
I don't know. I mean, there's not much I can do about that.
Peter thinks that it would be safer to fire just one missile at a time. This one also turns and speeds directly towards the ship. At this point, the Navy decides that no more missiles should be fired.
That one, I mean, it came round and it missed us by a fair distance, but equally, if it had carried on turning, it could have landed somewhere on the ship. Which, and although they're 90-odd pounds coming down at probably 100 miles an hour, we've got a lot of damage.
Just the debris of the first.
But the director hopes he's got enough shots. Now they need to explode the warlord's torpedo boat as if the missile had hit it. In reality, Peter is going to obliterate this retired Bahamian Navy patrol boat.
One petrol bag in here, one 15 gallons in here, probably the other one up on that deck up there.
To sink it, Peter is placing tubs of high explosive inside the hull.
And obviously what we want to do here is to try and sink it quickly. It's no good if it takes half an hour. And the idea is to try and make it go down quite fast, which is maybe a bit of a tall order, but it'll definitely sink. These are the charges we're going to use to sink the ship. It's a high explosive composition. It detonates at about, I don't know, somewhere around sort of, I think it's 2,500 feet a second. It's quite a powerful explosive. I suppose it's fairly similar in a way to the stuff the IRA use.
50 pounds of high explosive should sink the boat, but Peter adds a lot of petrol on the top deck to create an impressive fireball effect for the cameras. The patrol boat is going to be towed by the camera boat, with the tow rope supporting the wires to the explosives. Any sudden strain on the rope could break a connection and stop some of the charges detonating. As the two boats gather speed, they keep an anxious eye on the tow rope. Peter has to get this right first time. There can be no retakes. He's also worried about the safety of the film crew. It's going to be a big explosion.
Right, everyone that's on this boat, when the explosion starts, look out for flying debris, because there could be some stuff coming this way, and you don't really want to be up high where you are there. You need to be in a position where you can get down and out of the way. It amazes me how people seem to have a death wish sometimes.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Peter, tell me when you're live and ready and hand it back to me.
Yeah?
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, Roy, it's yours. We're ready and we're live. Roll cameras. You okay? You running? Running. We're running. Okay. One,
Well done, mate.
It works beautifully.
Mostly fiberglass and wood, isn't it? So it's probably got a bit of air trapped under it as well.
The director calls him on the radio.
Peter, it's Graham.
Go ahead, Graham.
Congratulations, Peter. That's very, very good. Excellent.
Thanks very much indeed, Graham. Great.
Back on the island, Peter's team has found a home at a local car repairer's. The large number of effects for the warlord's battles all have to be made and prepared here. Long days of setting up are often followed by long night shoots. Putting hundreds of small caps of explosives on a tarpaulin to simulate bullet holes will take over a day. The effect is dramatic, but brief. In the film, the Marines rescue some of the hostages, but the warlord escapes at a convoy of jeeps and armed trucks. One of Peter's biggest challenges is the complete destruction of this convoy by the frigate's big gun.
Where the vehicles were running down this sort of jungle road, and we're doing a test because in actual fact 4.5-inch shells from a frigate don't burst with a load of fire, but it looks good, so so we're doing it with fire.
The fire is produced by explosive cord at the bottom of an oil drum with a sack of petrol on top. It's crude, but effective.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
They didn't expect the palm trees to catch fire, but they're very happy with the test. As far as Peter is concerned, the bigger the bang, the better.
It was good. We need a bit more in the base. We need a bit more of the dust, possibly a bit more of the sort of debris flying in the air. But the fire side of it was good, because you could drive a vehicle almost past that with the stunt drivers. But the height was good. The director wants something that'll illuminate the trees, and at night that'll certainly do that. It went up higher than the trees. We've achieved what we wanted, really, because we know now how to fine-tune it to get exactly what we want.
When I was a kid, I used to love bonfires and trying to make explosives. Never succeeded, but I was always trying, you know. I can remember, although I succeeded in making smoke on 1 or 2 occasions. And I think I don't know what it is. I just like the sort of challenge of trying to blow things up and doing it so that people are close to them without hurting anybody.
For the scene in the jungle road, the director wants a jeep to be flipped completely over by a shell burst. Peter's not sure he can do it.
We're trying something here that hasn't been done, and there's no book you can get out of the library that says you use 3/4 of an ounce of this in a 5-inch pot. I've rolled vehicles before, but I don't know of anyone that's done an end over an end.
A steel pipe is fitted into the vehicle and welded into place, pointing downwards. On the night, a piston will be fired from it into the ground, hopefully throwing the vehicle into the air. Peter would like more time to test it.
I mean, in an ideal world, it would be nice to have 2 of these vehicles, one that we test with, and then one that we actually do the shot with, because then, by testing, you know exactly how much charge to put in.
On the morning of the jungle road sequence, Peter's team are the first on location. Terry, Peter's deputy, is supervising placing the charges, while Peter talks to the director about the setup of the shots.
Goes there.
Now, if we do need to go to another take on the master one,
Yes.
how long is that going to take to reset?
Well, we've got about an hour's resetting, but that's without putting out the fire from the previous take.
The one we said it wouldn't catch on fire.
Having said that.
Yes, but we've just discovered that it does catch on fire.
Peter has decided to use more than 1 charge for each shell burst.
When they go, they will spread more, and it will give us a wider area. This will go out to the middle of the road there, and that one will go out to those palm trees there. So, as it's a wide shot and a long way back on the camera, we get more coverage.
The local fire brigade has been called in to stand by.
From where the cameras are, you can't possibly see where these explosives are. What we're going to do, we're going to have one of our guys in the back of the last vehicle, and we'll have marker posts on the side of the road. As he comes up to the marker post, he will then cue the people that are firing them off, and we'll either have 2 firing positions, so we don't have any cables running across the road, and the guys on that will just fire the bangs as they're cued.
The explosions are going to produce huge fireballs, much bigger than the test blast. Peter makes sure everyone is clear about the danger.
Although the fireball will be going up, the heat will be quite powerful there. It's always difficult because they always want to get close. They always want to be right on top of it. And we're always trying to pull them back from it because there can be no compromise there. There's the safe distance and there's the dangerous distance, and we can't go into the dangerous area. So we have to be very strong there and say, no, this is where you can be and no closer. There's no film made that's worth a life or limb, is there?
Terry is determined that the message gets home.
This is your last.
This is the last one, and you need to be quite some way away. I tell you, it's quite warm.
Okay.
We're sort of as poised as we can be. It's just a matter now, it's waiting until it gets dark, 7 o'clock.
At last, After 10 hours of preparation, the shoot gets underway.
Bang!
Disaster strikes. The worn-out stunt vehicles are starting to break down.
And we have stopped.
I went to run shit if he's stalled, man.
Somebody needs to get their act together.
Let's get the truck. What's the matter with it? I mean, now he's got time to be fucking about the truck. When we run without coming on, that one's very similar, but I've managed to keep it.
Then the director realizes the headlights don't work.
Okay, can we fix it? I'd rather we fix it. Did you have a look in the front? We put 2 upper lengths on.
No, the spotlights. Right, yeah. Their spotlights have got to be on.
In order to save money, there isn't a standby mechanic. Peter's crew pitches in to fix carburetors and lights.
Battery and no battery, the heater works. Oh, good, you need that.
It's 10 o'clock, and they finally go for a take. They're 3 hours behind schedule now.
So if anything happens to the truck, just pull it from your point of view, so you won't want to spend 4 of them.
No.
If it goes wrong or the truck comes out.
All lights burning, Chris.
Uptake ready, all lights burning, engines running, petrol's fine, all standing by.
And roll cameras.
Cameras are rolling, cameras are rolling.
We're rolling, stand by.
Now speed.
And action on the vehicles, Chris. Send them on their way.
The bigger the job, then obviously the more pressure there is with it, then possibly the more inward I go and the quieter I get, because I'm sort of thinking of all the different aspects.
Into the lighted area.
But something goes wrong.
Three! 4! 5!
Didn't take off.
Hello, Terry coming. We lost the first 2. I don't know.
The fires have taken a serious hold. It's chaotic and dangerous, with some unexploded charges along the unlit road. And the noise of exploding coconuts frightens everyone.
Those first 2 went, but they didn't ignite, so we've got to watch people going up there.
They ignited, but they didn't ignite, Rob.
The director is not happy.
I mean, the foreground ones look good, but we didn't get the stuff down there.
Yeah, well, you were too short.
Yeah, I know, but...
He hasn't got the shot that he wants, and he wants to try again.
I mean, it looked great, but I think it all felt
How long
like...
would it take if we sent that?
I think we should try it. I mean, the amount of effort and time we put into it, I think it's worth getting it right for you.
So the charges have to be reset, and Peter has to find out why the first 2 didn't work. It's dark, it's midnight, and Peter's been working solidly now for 14 hours. Under these circumstances, it's easy to make a mistake. And Peter isn't quite certain what went wrong.
We think what happened is that one charge went first and cut the wires and caused a direct short, which then stopped the second one going. There isn't really a reason for it. I don't think it's faulty detonators, because that's extremely rare, but you never know.
Okay, can we clear? Stand by, guys. Here we go. And roll cameras.
Okay, chaps, the cameras are rolling. We're rolling cameras.
For Peter, it's turning into a very long night.
Pretty good, Roy.
Well done there, Peter.
Goodies for that.
Eh?
Good, thank goodness for that.
But that's just the beginning. The hardest part is yet to come. Peter now has to produce the effect of blasting the Jeep end over end. A gunpowder charge is taped to the top of a piece of telegraph pole. The Jeep is lifted up and the telegraph pole is pushed up into the pipe. On Peter's command, this will be fired downwards out of the pipe like a cannon, flipping the Jeep. Peter would prefer to use a specially made Teflon cylinder in the cannon, but the production cannot afford it.
Start to take up at it slowly, slowly. Keep going.
It takes 2 hours to prepare the effect. Other charges are placed in the Jeep to create the effect of blast and flame.
We've got a dustbang underneath to try and lose the cannon. And these are just extra, just to throw some crap up in the air.
There's no driver, so the Jeep, loaded with explosives, will be towed directly towards the cameras. Peter's afraid it'll hit a camera or a person.
If it decided to run towards that, there's nothing to stop it flattening that camera. I don't think it'll come over as far as this one, but on the other hand, I can't say definitely that it.
No, well, it's free will.
Won't.
It's free will.
It's on its own. Once we've fired it, it's on its own. Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's the moment of truth. Only one of the minor charges goes off. The truck stops within inches of the camera.
A bit close.
Guys, keep away. Sorry, folks. Away. Keep away from this vehicle.
Because it's still loaded.
The big charge of gunpowder in the cannon hasn't fired. The last thing that Peter thought would happen. The shot needs to be reset, and once again Peter goes through the laborious task of checking the wiring.
Just go with what we've got on there now. See those ends?
Nearly 100 people stand and wait, while the clock ticks and the overtime mounts up. The cameras roll again. And this time the cannon does fire, but doesn't produce the somersault the director wanted. The ill-fitting wooden plug could not contain the massive explosion, and much of its force was lost.
Oh yeah, I saw it jump and a big flash of flame out.
With the Jeep wrecked and dawn approaching, they can do no more. For Peter, it's been a long and intensely disappointing night. The last day of the filming is devoted to the finale of the film. The warlord's headquarters are located in a disused hotel. A missile fired by the frigate blows up a mobile missile launcher and triggers the destruction of the warlord's base.
In terms of effects, there's a big effect around the truck. The truck should blow up, the big fireball going up, spreading through the hotel, so all those windows up there will go boom, 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 blowing out all the glass, the Venetian blinds, the debris, the bits of furniture from inside all come flowing through the windows. So it should be an enormous fireball of activity.
After the bruising events of the Jungle Road, Peter is determined that this is going to be a spectacular and perfect effect. He's placing another cannon under the missile launcher and lots of charges around it to produce a massive explosion. Inside the hotel, Terry is orchestrating an extravaganza of blast and flame.
We've got to take the glass out of the windows, and also then we've got debris coming out. You see the 45-gallon drums, we've got debris in there, and then the cat-down gas cylinders, we've got petrol in those. So we've got a camera down this end looking up, seeing the glass come by and then the fuel coming out afterwards. Most of the flames should go out. This is a strong wind, you get a bit licking back, but we've got the fire brigade standing for it.
The owners of the hotel would like it back in one piece. Peter warns the producers that the fire brigade will have to move fast.
In other words, it will be quite savable after the explosion once we've cut the cameras. Right. But if they don't act quickly and efficiently, then they could lose it.
Spread.
And that is obviously the risk that the production takes. I don't think we can do any more, can we?
No. As long as they know not to go before cut.
Give us a shout when you're live, Terry.
I'm alive, Peter.
Yep, so am I. It's all yours, Roy.
Here we go, and roll cameras.
We're turning.
Okay, let's get the fire brigade in, boys. Get the fire brigade in.
The results are truly impressive.
Yep. See it? I heard it. Good.
And the fate of the hotel is forgotten in the euphoria. After 3 stressful weeks, Peter has gone out with a bang.
I knew there'd be plenty of wreckage flying around. It's a bit misshapen. Sure, it'd be nice to have had more money, more time, more materials. That always makes the job go easier. Talking to the director, I know we've achieved everything he wanted. He's extremely pleased. So that's always gratifying to know that what you've done has been appreciated.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Can I have a playback of that?
And the jungle road? In the film, no one would guess the problems they had.
Swapping the boardroom for a tent with no bed. Another boss goes back to the floor, next on BBC Knowledge.